And so I think it's really important that we just take some time to kind of start to connect with one another and utilize today. You know, during lunch, for example, I encourage you to sort of get up and maybe change seats and sit next to somebody different and talk about some of the topics that we'll have in that kind of a thing. So, moving forward though, so let's talk a little bit about student activities and organizations. I'm going to give you some general information, some rules and some things like that. But it's just sort of a start. I'll talk about sort of the purpose and the benefit of our office to you as an organization or group. We'll talk about some forms and policies and procedures and things like that. And I will be the first to admit, okay, I'll put that out there, that you know, we've had some change and turnover in our office. So there is definitely some of us that you know, and I'll talk more about our office staff that are working with student organizations. There are some of us that are new to this area. It's something we've been connected with for a long time, but it's an area that we're sort of new to. So there are some things that we are changing and learning about what we do in terms of student organizations on campus. And so, you know, if there's something that you have a question, if you feel like, well, last year we didn't do it that way, but we got to do it this way this year, well, that might be something that's actually sort of a change or an evolution in terms of how we do some of the things in terms of our office. So just want to put that out there as well. So student activities and organizations, downstairs in the lower level of the University Center, that's where we're located. And so student activities and organizations as an office, as a programming area, used to be called student governance and organizations. And so just for a frame of reference, if any familiar term, you're kind of like, oh yeah, student governance and organizations. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Mm-hmm. Okay. Generally what has happened over the course of the summer, the Division of Student Affairs has some reorganization and restructure. Student Congress kind of became its own entity, and so student activities and organizations were sort of created to capture and support what is now a new unit we have that is involvement and engagement. So it includes areas like student activities and organizations, the Leadership Center, Fraternity and Sorority Life, campus events and activities, anywhere that we think students are primarily going to get connected and involved and engaged on the campus, we try to take and sort of house it in that primary unit. Just some background, food for thought. So that's student activities and organizations, and so you will hear us use that term of SAO, or student activities and organizations, in place of where we might have at one time used SGO, or student governance organizations. Just for clarification. We are located down here in this lower level of the University Center. If you come down the stairs, there is the receptionist right there at the bottom of the stairs that can always direct you if you're not exactly sure which office suite it is, but they can always get you to the exact office suite. So if you're coming down here to get a poster stamp or something signed or reserve a room, this is where you can still come to for that. Generally, our office hours are always going to be Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but at the same time, I think as staff, we are typically willing to, if there needs to be a meeting or a time to get together outside of that 8 to 5, willing to do so. Just got to communicate with that with us and let us know we're here to take and support these organizations and groups. We love doing it. That's why we do it. So we have over 330 student organizations that make up our community of student organizations. That's a lot, almost. You know, and that number grows every semester. We always have new groups that come in, and we always have a few groups that just decide to sort of, you know, fall by the wayside. But we always have groups that come in, and always sort of continues to be a positive growth. Some things that I think are important to kind of make sure you're aware of: our website, uta.edu/SAO, Student Activities and Organizations. At that site, you'll be able to click on the button that says Student Organizations, and it takes you to all those things that are very student organization specific. A lot of the things I will talk about today, you will find there. So really think of that as a resource, as a bookmark it, let's put it that way. And if you have a question or something like that, it probably is there. Not that we are not more than happy to take the phone call, schedule the meeting, answer the email, but a lot of the times the information is there. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you finally have that time to take and work on something for your organization and you're not quite sure about it, and you want the answer now, it very possibly might be there. I do PTA stuff. That's when my PTA stuff always occurs. I'm like, the middle of the night when it's kind of like, chance to do it. And so as much that you can get to at that time when it's convenient and accessible to you is important. So you'll find our student organization handbook there, which really kind of becomes that all-encompassing sort of document for a lot of things as it relates to student organizations. Yeah, it's the do's and don'ts. It's kind of those things that you need to know about, do and don't, but it's a resource for you. It's meant to be also a real resourceful tool. So these are the staff that work with student organizations and activities. So just to kind of give you a frame of reference, all of these staff are people who have been involved with student affairs. We've got a vacant position that we're in the process of trying to fill as well. But you'll see myself, John Hillis, we have a vacant position, Jennifer Fox, who has worked with student organizations and was a former student Congress president, as well as Marilyn, who is our administrative assistant. Some of you might know Marilyn or met her before if you've been involved. Marilyn is a tremendous resource. She's there at our front desk to take and really work with most of you, as well as Ricky and Kimberly, who are also our student office assistants. Ricky has been with us for about 1.5 years, and Kimberly, who just started this past summer. So they are a fantastic resource. They are the ones that probably, in most cases, if you come by our office and you need something, who can probably address or deal with things or help answer that question, navigate you through a process if you're trying to figure it out. So make sure you take advantage of it. Bring them a box of brownie bites, and they'll do everything you need done probably. But definitely get to know them and utilize them as a resource in our office. They are invaluable to us. So I think just some things to keep in mind about benefits of being a student organization. And first of all, thank you for all of you for being involved with the student organization on campus. We definitely try to take and work with our groups. These are some of those benefits that I think are sometimes overlooked. Of course, and keep this in mind, you don't have to be a student organization. You as students have the freedom to assemble and do a lot of things without being a student organization. But I think it's important to keep in mind that there are some things that you get as benefits of being a student organization. The ability to reserve rooms and space is probably the biggest thing. So you can say that you have reserved a room or a space is something that, as a student organization, you're able to do. Otherwise, you might not. It also includes a discount in the UC in terms of AD packages and those kinds of things, and some equipment rentals like tables and chairs that you can check out for day use. There's a little bit of money out there as well. We have what's called the Program Assistance Fund, which is done through Student Congress. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Also, we have some printing money that is available to you as a student organization. Each organization gets $100. We'll talk more about that a little bit as well. Things like Activities Fair Day, those organized events and activities that we coordinate and put together for you as student organizations to promote what you do, connect with people, recruit people, occur at things like Activities Fair Day. And so that's another benefit that if you were not a student organization, you wouldn't have available to you as well. We do our MavOrgs, the newsletter, which it says weekly. We got to get back to it. With some short staffing, that has not occurred with the frequency we would like to. So I know you are all like, yes, I've been missing my MavOrgs newsletter. Where's it been? Thank you. That's what I need to say. Where's it been? I've been looking for it. It'll come out this week. That was one of those things over the course of the summer with some short staffing issues we have not been as good about as we should be. And so my apologies if anybody has been sitting around waiting for their MavOrgs newsletter to come in to answer all their questions. Event planning resources, there are a lot of things that we sort of offer and try to take and work with our groups to make sure you have the resources available to you to navigate the process, because I think it can sometimes be a little overwhelming, a little cumbersome, a little red tape-ish, a little, disconnected. And so to help you try to navigate that event registration process as much as possible is the other thing that we really try to take and do for our student groups. To not make it as cumbersome as it sometimes can seem to be. And then of course also development sessions. So over the course of the year we typically try to offer other sessions like this to kind of just allow, if you have a student organization or a group that kind of needs some other resources or support, here's a way for you to take and get some of those educational sessions and things like that. So student organization development sessions are something else that we try to offer throughout the year as well. So kind of talking about each of those things, I'm going to start and talk about MavOrgs. Everyone familiar with MavOrgs? Hopefully you registered for this through it. Obviously you might have, I'll take the first, say maybe I missed something. MavOrgs is our site that we use through, it's essentially a product that we have purchased that we use to take and help provide some resources and support for student organizations. And so I'm going to talk about some of the things that you can and I would encourage you to take and use that site for. It is intended to be more than just sort of, a place that you go because you have to, because they make you do this re-registration form. Everyone done the re-registration yet, by the way? So we hope that you see it as more than just that. So I'll talk about some of those kinds of things as well. So it's intended to be sort of that one-stop shop for you as an organization to help manage some of the things about your organization or group. Documents. How many of you have documents that you have to sort of keep and manage and pass on from year to year? Definitely that's the kind of Yes, we have those, absolutely, good. That's the kind of thing that we hope that you use that MavWorks side of it. You know, when you log in as an individual, you become connected to an organization or group, and there is the ability for you to take and manage and keep documents and things like that. And that's something that we hope you can utilize as a resource, so moving year to year, you can easily hand that information off from person to person in your organization or group and make that process easier. You know, we also think that it's the kind of thing that we use as an institution to promote students getting involved with student organizations. So, how many of you worked at an organization involvement fair this summer? Maybe was at a mall? Yeah. Orientation? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I worked on those booths. So, for example, that's something where when people come to orientation, when they connect as a student, we promote that MavWorks site as the place for them to go to connect with those 300 plus student organizations. In that site, if you haven't ever had to go through that process, there's the ability for you to search by interest, by some criteria that you might be looking for to help get people connected with the individual organizations. So that's why it's important for you as an organization to take some time and think about what criteria, if someone was looking to get involved with your group, what they might be looking for. And so it asks for some things in that re-registration process. And so we use it as a way to take and promote students getting involved on campus. And so we encourage and look for all of you to take and utilize that resource. We hope it's easy to use. I'll tell you this, I think a lot of people think of it as sort of like, oh, it's like Facebook. And it kind of has a little bit of that look and feel. I'll be the first to say, yeah, kind of. But I don't want you to think of it as, yay, Facebook for organizations. I already got a Facebook, this is annoying. I don't want you to think of it that way. I want you to think of it as sort of a more formally structured tool that is structured a lot like a Facebook. How many of you have a MavWorks page and